Hello, welcome back. Art of Cycling. I'm Greg Leach. We're still in the Tour de France. It's a strange day. I'm having computer issues and keep hitting live, so it's been a little difficult to figure out exactly what's going on today. I think that might be the same case for the Peloton too. Seems like groups come together and split, come together and split on what a day that started with some reasonable climbs, but not enough to split up the Peloton. And then we have breakaways that had the yellow jersey, and then that would come back. It was just, I don't know what's going on. Anybody know? I mean, I guess I'll know when I get to the end of the stage, but even then, and I guess that will then say whether all the bizarro tactics were worth it. Right now, this is a threesome that is caught. So we've got a small group off the front, and then part of what had been a big breakaway, and then these three guys are chasing that group, and then behind them, so the Mads Pedersen, the green jersey, is the one in the very front group, and then in the group behind these guys is the next closest guy in that competition, Philipsen. And they're all racing because the intermediate sprint is a ways up the road, but not too far now. 24 kilometers from the leaders, so maybe 25 kilometers from the Jasper group, Jasper Philipsen. So it's, and then the way the stage, like normally the intermediate group is, sprint rather, is way out in front of the, early on, like there's been some where it's like almost right out of the start of the stage. Maybe I have to figure out what these arrows in the middle of the turns mean. Not the way we do it in the States. So it seems to be like a little teeny, well, not teeny, but quite a setup of fans. So we are also leading the Haute Savoie. So now the end of the stage today is going to be out of the mountains and into the flats. So is what's kind of making for this weird stage is it's not a true sprint stage, although the way the race has happened, the gruppetto of sprinters have been able to catch back onto the peloton, which normally never happens. But like I said, all the mountains were in the beginning of the stage, so they got dropped, but then they got together, as the gruppetto always does, and slowly chased their way back. And the peloton finally decided that it was the right breakaway, because we had points where, I mean, Tade was in the breakaway at one point. I mean, like I say, it's been nuts today. but now it seems to have settled down. We've got this couple of breaks. None of them are, I don't think anybody was actually threatening the jersey at all at any point, but it's one of those days where I go, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I need to add some more water to my there. I keep sticking my brush in the water and then coming up empty. Now, I know cyclists are thin, but I think I got that arm just a little too thin. So I've talked about, I hope, all this artwork being for sale, and one of the things that people love. There are two images I can sort of always count on selling. One is a landscape. I think I've talked about it before, is that there are a lot of people who watch the tour just for the beautiful scenery of France. It certainly is quite the travelogue. And the other is, of course, whenever I can find Dee Dee. And it's a little weird. I follow Dee Dee on Instagram. I'm there if you all are Instagram folks. You can find me over there, where I post every painting from every stage. And they also all, of course, end up at my cycling blog. Oops, forgot the tree that this big group has decided to hang out under. So as always, working my way through the palette. So this is Hub Arts, or Hoob. It's probably how you pronounce it. I just, naturally I love the name of Arts. I believe he is a Dutch writer. The name would certainly indicate that. This is the first time, second time I painted him. This tour is the first time I've ever painted him. There's been a lot, I think. I don't have that number to hand, but roughly 30 riders who I've never painted before in this Tour de France. So when I post things on my cycling blog, when I put in a rider's name, start typing it in, it's it will know if I've put him in before, and so obviously with a name, I get it all typed out and it says no matches. That's how I know I've never painted him. But it's also interesting to see names, because I've been doing the cycling blog since 2014, I believe. Maybe 2013. Started painting the tour way back in 2012. I know I've told that story on how that got started. But so names will pop up that have been retired for years now. which is always amusing. It was like, oh, I forget who I was typing up, but the name, it was Juan Russo from yesterday's time trial. And it was, the name that popped up was Juan Antonio Fletcher. He would always mimic pulling back a bow and arrow. When he crossed the line, he would win a stage, and that was his victory salute. You know, a Fletcher is somebody who puts the feathers on the shaft of an arrow. Don't know if that's what his name meant, but I don't know if you caught that. I was just blowing probably an eyelash off the painting. So here we have Chico Alua, the Australian team that rides in this wonderful purple kit with the bright green. So some interesting kits out here in the front group, which I always like to see. Now I'm going to try to work through the tree lines in the distance here, and mountainsides. So of course, when I do the trees, I do it in reverse. I get the dark underside, the shadow area, and then put the highlights on top, which is admittedly exactly the opposite of what I say to do. So I do, give you all lots of little rules and, well, suggestions would be a better term. And then set about breaking them. But that's kind of a thing with art making, is there are specific things that you need to learn how to do. There's a sort of an academic training, and I've seen this, I hope you have too, going to museums and finding artists there who are painting, doing copies of the famous paintings. And of course, I've seen one guy who has business cards there like, hey, you can buy this. But the main point is the discipline of learning how another artist created the work they did. And of course, the best way to do that is to try and imitate it. Because you'll know how he did it after you've tried to do it yourself. Or you'll know you don't know. The real art of side of intelligence is knowing what you don't know. There is so much I don't know about so many subjects. There is a quote that if you think you're the most intelligent person in the room, you probably aren't. I had a coworker who said, well, what his mother always said to that was, if you think you're the smartest person in the room, it's time to change rooms. I thought that was rather brilliant. I do always prefer to be with people who know more than I do, not less. That's why I'm so happily married. Bridget knows a whole lot more than I do. So this is getting close to fruition here. A word I am fond of. I've probably used it before. So if you'll notice, the greens are less and less intense, more diluted, paler, have more blue. Got too much water that time. Have more blue in them as we go back, recede into the horizon. It's a function of what I call atmospheric perspective. So like I say, we're getting close to having this finished. Of course, all of this artwork gets posted on my cycling blog, theartofcycling.blogspot.com. All the art is for sale. Sales have, I think it's partially the economy, have been a little less robust than years past. I am seeing a downward trend, which doesn't make me happy. But hey, we all know it's tough out there. And of course, speaking of things that help, I hope you all will consider subscribing. I do appreciate the remarks I've been getting from, oh shoot, I was going to write the names down. I'm sorry. But I do, thank you guys for the encouragement. I know Bob was one of them. I think Jim was the other, but we could just be going for common names there. I know I've answered you guys, and I appreciate it, but thank you all. Love to know what else you all think. And, admittedly, the internet tends to be a nasty place, but I'm a big boy. I can handle your negative remarks, so. I did see, and I don't even know how this came about, but it was on Blue Sky, but it was like a AI review of my artwork. Hey, I just noticed I did it again. I didn't title it before I painted it. Why don't you all stop me? I keep doing that when I do these. Oh. Here, before I put the roadway there. So now what I'm going to do is, okay, that's drying. Of course, like I say, you can find all of this work on theartofcycling.blogspot.com. While you go to there, you will find direct links to my website, gregleach.com. I'll put both of these places in my description. we go. Chasing along the valley road. All right. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know what you think. And this work will be for sale probably before this video gets posted. So yeah, quick note on how I go about that is, so I write the post, put it up on the blog, put it up on the website, and then as soon as I start putting the paintings up on social media, that shows that they're available on my website. So thanks again. Happy cycling. Hope you guys can get out and ride. And you've always got a tailwind.